Hello everybody, welcome back. It's been a while since I've been streaming and doing videos, so this is kind of exciting. I got a chance to work with some of my decks, and I decided to put them up online and do some videos on my Gwent ideas, which you can find at, you can see the title right there, and it's at www.gwentdb.com. And please, I have 9 decks. I'm going to go through them all here on these videos, one a day. I'll break down the ideas of the decks. Please feel free to go online and vote for them positively, hopefully, and see if you like them. But I'm going to go through the deck ideas. This new one, this Graveyards and Dragons, were from the newly released cards from Gamescom. There is a new hero ability, there's a new hero card that is not on the Gwent database site at the time of this video that I would add. And he would add plus power to the graveyard, but since I don't have him, I won't really dwell too much into that. So what this is Graveyards and Dragons, kind of play on Dungeons and Dragons, and I try to be a little creative with my titles, sometimes bad, sometimes good, I don't know, trademark. But this is on, Crocon Crate is the hero that I picked. Again, I would switch him out. And the basic deck idea is pretty straightforward and simple. It's a Graveyard Manipulation, which of course is a powerful ability of scaling a faction. And we're going to go kind of card by card and look at it, why they are what they are. Some of the new cards released on Gamescom. So the first one we're looking at is the Shieldsmith. Now I put a couple of them in here, and what it does is increase the strength of every non-hero unit on this row except this card by +2. And as you can see on that row, they're all non-hero cards. So you would buff them all except for, of course, Velametromirth, which is considered a hero card. But it would basically pop up all the Crocon Crate Warriors and the Queensguard. So that's part of the pumpable. So you have the Shieldsmith, and then you have the Armorsmith down here. So I find him. There he is. The Armorsmith. So one Shieldsmith, one Armorsmith. I feel that's good enough. They aren't key to the deck, but they're certainly, if you wanted to, you can always change and add pumpables to the deck. You can put maybe one more of each one of these, but I try to constrict the deck down to a bare minimum to get the focus of the deck, which is the Graveyard Manipulation. These kind of add a little buff to it. They are by no means important to the overall deck in terms of damage, but they do give you a nice little plus. Okay, so the first combo is Cerys and the Queensguard. This is just a really good muster ability. This is something to really to give you a board presence, give you a little bit of punch. It is something where you can give yourself a presence. So what she does is she plays all Queensguard from your deck, hand, or graveyard, and so they're your Queensguard. So they can be they can muster themselves. If they're not in the graveyard, she can muster them from the graveyard, which kind of synergizes with the rest of the deck graveyard build. So that's them. The Crocon Crate Warriors, obviously built around them, really. The passive abilities increases strength by +6 when played from the graveyard. So you want to play from the graveyard. Now this can be accomplished in 2 ways. One, you can use one of the many summoning abilities that I'll talk about later, or let's say round 1 you play this card. But you see in your hand you have a Priestess of Freya and a Decoy, which would be the ultimate wombo combo, or you have Siegfrieda, or there's just a ton of synergy with it. You can play this card round 1 and just have it there and just play it base. Maybe play it with a Shieldsmith and pump it up a little bit, or maybe play it with a Commander's Horn. But the point of this card is that it becomes more powerful as we go through the game. So you want to have him out there, you want to pump him up, and you want to have him in the graveyard. Basically, the graveyard is where he is plentiful, but you also, you can have him in your opening hand. The additions to the deck came from Gamescom. Velametromirth, which was one of my favorite cards, and Gwent 3. Just an amazing card. Now they changed it in Gwent 3. This dragon was actually a common, so you could, or a non-hero, so you could put it back to your hand with a spy and then keep on just using it. It was amazing. So they made it a hero, which doesn't make it as strong as it was, but still is an amazing Scorch card. So not only Scorches in my bottom row of my special cards, but I have them in terms of dragons. So Velametromirth comes out and she scorches anything, which is very good. And it's, if opponent's total strength is 30, remove the strongest unit. So before it was more of a front line was over 10, then you could use it in Witcher 3. Now here we go, and here comes some of the synergistic parts of the deck. Siegfrieda. Take any non-hero unit from your graveyard, play it instantly. And then also passively, increase its strength by +1 whenever another player plays a card from the graveyard. So she brings a card to the graveyard, and then she continues to pump them up when more cards are pulled from the graveyard. So she's a very key part of this card. She is huge, and she brings a lot of graveyard synergy to the deck. Now, here we go again. Yet another Dragon Scorch. So this dragon is for the range row or the melee row. So he has both icons there. If the opponent's strength is total 15, send strongest units on row to graveyard. So whichever row you put them on will then scorch that row. So if they have a big melee heavy row, you can put them on the melee. Big range, put them on melee. That's one of the new cards. Akvist, huge card to this deck. And this deck either brings from my graveyard, puts their creatures in their graveyard. So very nice. And then also synergizes with the Gravedigger, which I'm talking about here in a second. Okay, so there's that. Now, Ermion, great character from The Witcher 3, in the Witcher universe actually. When played, draw 4 units from deck to graveyard. So right off the bat, what he does is he takes cards from your deck, puts them in the graveyard. Now, this could be, most of the cards that could go there are going to be beneficial to you. The Clan Uncrate Warriors, the Clan Dunham Pirate Captains, all are going to go to the graveyard, and that's going to be good for you because you chance to pull them off the graveyard because that's where you want them to be. So instead of having to play them on turn 1 and use them on turn 2, if you play Ermion, not only is he a nice beefy character, but he puts resources in your graveyard for the end to pull out. So it's very good. Now, one of the possible drawbacks could be, let's say he pulls a card that can't be taken from the graveyard. Like, for example, draw 1 unit from deck to graveyard, the Clan Dunham Pirate. Well, you can still pull that off with a Priestess of Freya. So you can still get whatever comes to the graveyard back to your hand with different cards. But Ermion, that's what his ability is there for. And Sorceress, I skipped over her, but she is to play just to give you a muster with the Queen's Guard. So very important. Priestess of Freya, the cornerstone really of the deck, they give you any non-hero unit from your graveyard played instantly. So once again, you have creatures that put things in the graveyard, and then she pulls them out and allows you to really cater your playstyle to where you're wanting it to go. So you can sit there and you can really get, well, you can bring back Akvist, for example. So if you play a monster deck that likes the muster and weather effects, Akvist comes back, bring Akvist back. It's really important, really strong. If someone's the same focus as Velmetrimurth did in The Witcher 3. Okay, so Priestess of Freya, huge, crucial bits. Also keep in mind, the Priestess of Freya you can put back to your hand with Decoy. So, Priestess of Freya, bring back Akvist, Decoy either one of them to play again, but more like you want the Priestess of Freya back to reuse in round 2 or 3. So Decoys and Priestess of Freya synergize together with the dragons, with the rebound. You have a lot of synergy with this deck, a lot of defensive, offensive capabilities. Works really well. There's another Armor Smith. Pump them up. Clan Dunham Pirate. Draw 1 unit from the deck to the graveyard. So again, cards that put resources into the graveyard for you then to manipulate. Clan Dunham Pirate, and of course, again, a card that you want in the graveyard, the Pirate Captain. So this one increases strength by +6 played in the graveyard, much like the Clan Uncrate Warrior. So 6 cards that are key to the deck. I'm not going to try to pronounce the name. I'm probably going to butcher it, but I guess I have to. Murderbrock. Okay. Again, a Scorch card just for the siege. Now, Northern Faction, Northern Realms are going to have a huge siege presence, and some other decks may also. So this one will give you a chance to once again have a Scorch for the siege. So instead of having 3 Scorches, the dragons in my deck function as Scorches, plus beef, plus then pumped up with the Armor Smith and Shield Smith, plus it pumped up with the Commander's Horn. You get the idea. It synergizes really well. Coral, I mean, obviously, once again, if you have a graveyard manipulation deck, you have to have Coral. Take any non-unit card or special card from your graveyard, play it instantly. Okay, that's obviously very important. And she has nice big strength, so it works really well. Decoys function incredibly important. If your opponent plays a spy, you can then decoy him back. You can use them for your Priestess of Freya, which I would recommend using your decoys for Priestess of Freya only. Commander's Horn pump up. Clear Skies. I put 2 in there just because Monster. I think Monster is going to be really heavy right off the bat. I think Monster decks are going to be prevalent because of their power and their just beautiful synergy with weather. So 2 Clear Skies, just in case you go against monsters that are a problem. Operator. Play a random hero from the deck. All these heroes synergize with your style, and even, let's say, Ceres would be the weakest hero that you could draw. Well, let's say you have the Operator in hand, and you play some Queen's Guard. You play Queen's Guard, they muster, right, in round 1. They go away, you play the Operator, worst case scenario you get Ceres, you play again, all the Queen's Guard come back. So Operator functions as a way of working with Ceres, and also just give you one of the heroes that you need. Could give you Coral, could give you Velametromirth, could give you Ceres, Ermion. So Operator kind of works as a way of, there's no negative effects from him. And finally, Dona on Hindar, excuse me. Draw 1 card from your deck to your hand and 1 card from your deck to your graveyard. So, I say more. You get more cards to your hand and you get to your graveyard, which you can manipulate. So that's basically the deck. That's basically what the deck functions as. It's a way of constant pressure with some defense from the dragons. It's a way of keeping things very synergized. If you wanted to, you could make the possible changes. Could be you could take away the Shield Smith and the Armor Smith. You could maybe go a little more Scorch, go kind of a defensive variant of this build, which would work very well. I didn't have the Gravedigger here. The Gravedigger could work really well if you're doing a mirror match, for example. So, for example, a mirror match, you have to play another Crown on Crate Warrior. If this build becomes popular, you could Gravedigger one of their Crown on Crate Warriors to your side, which would then still work as the +6, and then you can have that synergy of damage and then plus and kind of make them at the same time, which is a bonus. So I think this deck is very good. I think this deck, there's going to be some more cards released at Gamescom. This is at this point, it was the 3rd day of Gamescom. They released a bunch of new cards, and so I hope you enjoyed this video. I'd like to thank GwentDatabase.com, GwentDB.com, and of course Gwent itself for allowing me to make this video and have this resource. And also, please join our Gwent Discord server. We're very proud of it, and we are. There's just some great deck ideas being bounced around there on a daily basis. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video. It's my first in a series of deck ideas I'll be doing. So I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, Shifu of the Cards. Please like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Please like and subscribe on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. And hope to see y'all soon. Hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day. All right, now this is where I don't know if it even recorded.